Spider-Man we just got our first glimpse of Spider-Man in Marvel's new Captain America Civil War movie. And he was underutilized and underwhelming.
We had not talked about this yet. I didn't know what your thought was.
There's one thing I thought immediately, because he has these very stark black lines around his eyes. The first thing I thought was he looks just like Japanese Spider-Man. I don't mean that he had thinner eyes. There was a show in Japan in the 1970s based on Spider-Man, and he looked they modeled him very closely after the comic book, and he was wearing like a Halloween mask with the kind of mesh white and just like plenty of black around everything else. Also, the resolution on the old show is lower, so you can't see the checker pattern of the webs very well. And that was something that I also noticed about this Spider-Man.
He's very bright. His colors were.
Well, I was thinking that he's there's not a lot of contrast. He is red and he is blue, and there are very thin black lines all over him. And I don't know, the costume didn't take a lot of chances. The way I was really happy with the Amazing Spider-Man suit. I really liked that suit.
I liked the one with Tobey Maguire just fine. Didn't bother me in the least.
I mean, 2 is an okay movie. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That one was just kind of by the numbers. You know what I mean?
Well, here's my deal, right? I thought the suit itself, other than the eyes, it didn't bother me too much either way. I understand that a lot of people were saying that it kind of looks how he was classically in the comics, which is fine.
No, he doesn't look the way he does classically in the comics unless he has webbing going from here to here. That's
well, there's
Spider-Man.
more than one classic Spider-Man.
No, there's the original, and then there's the other iterations.
No, I think there's been more.
They're not all classic. They're the other iterations after the classic.
Fine, it's one of the ones people know.
Okay.
From the comics, it's one of them.
Okay.
Fine. But what bothered me was his eyes and the way they shrank when he after he caught the shield and he was sitting there and he's like as he's talking his eyes shrink like they're focusing in. Now here's the thing. Now you can pipe in. I know I'm sure you have something to say about this at some point.
Okay.
But let me get through this. The whole reason that his eyes shrank, because they did shrink in the comics and in the cartoon, was to show emotion to the reader, to portray what Spider-Man was thinking or whatever, to show emotion. It was just, that's all it was. It was to portray to the audience what he was thinking or feeling. And it helped accentuate things. Mm-hmm. There is absolutely no reason in a live-action Spider-Man iteration for those eyes to move. And of all the reasons that they could, which I've talked about this online with people, and they're telling me, well, they're like lenses, and they can, there's some type of Stark tech or something. And I'm like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense, because the way a lens does to focus, it has to be circular. It can't be in the shape of Spider-Man's eyes and shrink. That doesn't make any sense. I've yet to see a good reason why his eyes would move like that.
I was thinking blast shielding. Like, he can close those to completely black if something's about to damage the headset.
Which would be fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what they do. They shrink.
Well, actually...
And fabric doesn't do that.
Actually, well, I mean, they're always lenses. They always are. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see through them.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's some sort of headset array.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they don't shrink. They become thinner because Spider-Man does this. He flies through. He catches the shield with the web, and he puts the web cuffs.
Yeah.
On the Captain America.
On the America man.
And
yeah.
then he does a flip, and he lands on the Fenwick van from TMNT.
Right.
And he's got the shield in one hand, and then he goes, "Hello, everybody." Like,
why?
They don't zoom in or out like an iris. He
Yeah.
just goes after nothing.
Yeah.
After just, "Hello, everybody." Why would he do that?
I have no clue. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
I also think it's odd that they're introducing what in the story must be a untested superhero. I think that in the Marvel universe, this works best as in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This concept works best with Peter Parker being a newcomer,
right?
Untested, inexperienced, but obviously very powerful, and that's why Captain America wanted to.
What did Tony call him? Pantsuit Man?
Underoos.
Underoos.
Yeah.
Almost the same.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But they make him out to be incredibly powerful. The first thing he does is step up to Captain America.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a little more Peter Parker if this had shown him sort of get knocked around a little bit.
Yeah. He's kind of like a Jackie Chan character in that he gets his ass beat quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very humanizing and relatable. And yeah, it's kind of weird that's now we don't know that that's the first time you see him in the movie. That's just the first time you see him in the trailer. Now I do want to at least give credit, or at least somewhat of defense to Marvel Studios with this whole thing, because Captain America: Civil War was pretty much done when they finally got the deal done with Sony to bring him in.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, so that's a lot of it's CG, and it's a lot of it's After Effects, and it's all. It kind of makes sense of why this is kind of looks a little clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to put that in their defense, at least, and put that But overall, I'm not super pleased with it. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, this movie comes out a day before my birthday. I'm super excited about this fucking movie. I've been excited since it was announced. I love Captain America. I love the Civil War story arc. I'm super excited about it still. We're just being a little picky about the Spider-Man thing. I'm
being picky about the Spider-Man thing because he was so important to the story of the Marvel Civil War.
Very much.
And, as soon as I saw him be introduced with a joke, immediately disarm and capture Captain America, and then land with shield in hand, and then had a special effect.
It doesn't seem like Peter Parker.
Well, no, it seemed like, oh, the fans will like this.
Right.
And
a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fans are going to be very interested in seeing Peter Parker do everything right, because they love Spider-Man, and they don't want him to be overly... They don't want him to be underutilized or seen as an underdog, because he's everyone's hero.
Right.
And so important to the marketing of this movie now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been a big question the entire time. Which, the funny thing about Captain America and Spider-Man in the comic is that Spider-Man has a lot of trouble with Captain America.
Right.
He's not good at fighting him.
Right. Right. Now here's a question I have for you. We've pretty much cut this up as much as we can, and kind of looked at it. But one thing I'm curious about: what do you think about his voice?
Voice was perfect.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I thought that was spot on.
And it was the perfect, everything that physically his introduction should have been. The actor portrayed the voice perfect. It should have been meek, understated, possibly even intimidated. Spider-Man should have got hit and then kind of got a little revenge. We should have seen. I don't even know. Maybe Bucky. Maybe Bucky give him a crack on the jaw, and then maybe Tony looks over and he's like, uh-oh. And then Spider-Man's swinging somebody around, Yeah. It should have been, powerful but vulnerable. And that's exactly what the actor did with it, and it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I like I said, I didn't like the intro as much, just like you did. But I'm wondering if it's more of that they chose that particular scene and the way he was introduced in that scene as the intro to Spider-Man. The first time we're seeing him in this movie, the trailer. Almost like a boom, we finally have Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah, they wanted it to be the biggest introduction they could think of,
right? Because
it's been a big question.
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't know. Is it going to be fine?
Probably.
But that's the thing. That's the thing about all this is that we're giving Marvel Disney Studios a maybe. And that's not something that we've done before. We've had faith in them since the Avengers, and they've delivered since the Avengers.
Well, I called it before, where it's finally starting to get to that point where people are getting a little shaky about the Marvel stuff. There's more questions than there are answers a lot of the time. There's more, we've seen some doubt come from superhero movies. It's not always from Marvel Studios, but because there are superhero movies that come out that are shaky, people a lot of the public doesn't necessarily disassociate. They don't necessarily separate Marvel from all superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plants a small seed of doubt anytime you see a new superhero movie. And not to mention Batman versus Superman, there's been a lot of controversy and doubt in that movie.
I can't find it on Reddit. I'll tell you that much. I can't find the doubt.
You can't find the doubt on Reddit?
No.
Really?
No, the cow video that we put out about Dawn, not Dawn. Yeah, it was about Dawn of Justice, but
Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice.
We dog a lot on Man of Steel about it.
Yeah.
In the process, people did not like that. They really didn't.
Reddit's an interesting community.
Mm-hmm. But we love them.
Absolutely. I'm just saying it's interesting.
When you said that we're having more questions than answers and the bottom is falling out and things like that, there have been a couple of articles that I've ran into lately about people saying what Hollywood's going to do after the superhero movie bubble bursts.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about people saying it's going to go the way of the Western and things like that.
You know what they're going to do? Make more superhero movies.
Probably.
Because they've been consistently making superhero movies since
the 70s?
I want to say that Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman series, was what put it on the map. People still love that movie. John Williams was involved with the score, and it's become a classic since then. It's had a sequel in this century, and they've been consistently making them, and they've been consistently making money since the concept was really introduced to as far as full feature presentation, special effects extravaganza superhero movies. Yeah. I don't think that superhero movies are really going anywhere.
There's going to be some bad ones and some good ones.
What'll happen is sort of like this movie, how it's sort of Civil War is placating. Okay, we finally got Spider-Man. We need to just market. We need to push Spider-Man and make sure that everybody loves him. And maybe the story will suffer as a result. Of course, all we're going on is the presentation that we've seen so far. And that will go on until we get Batman and Robin. And then, that'll sell a lot of toys, and it will live in infamy as something awful. And then we'll get the Dark Knight again. They'll be like, we need the big boy superhero movie again.
Right.
And this time we're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Again. Yes.
And then Batman's gonna kill a guy.
I'm down.
I'm calling it. He's gonna kill a guy.
He kills a lot. He kills a lot of people.
Yes, but what I mean kill a guy is that he'll kill a guy on purpose, and you actually see it on screen, and he'll cry about it. Batman
once snapped the Joker's neck with such expertise that he knew what kind of paralysis he was going to give the Joker. He doesn't kill people by accident. He never does.
Right, but the media in which we watch or read the comics usually glosses over those deaths.
Okay.
I'm saying face to face he's gonna kill a guy. Now that reminds me of an awesome sketch, guys. I think it's by College Humor, where he's killing people.
The Pete Holmes?
They're all he's taking a nap. Yeah. That was hilarious.
Bad guys have a tendency to sleep after they fight me, as they get so tired because I'm so good.
Was that Pete Holmes in the suit?
Yes, Pete Holmes. You didn't know that?
I was trying to figure it out for the longest time. Now that you're saying it, his mouth looks like Pete Holmes' mouth.
Gaping maw underneath the bat nose.
That is such... Oh my god, I can't believe that. I completely did not know that. I should have looked that up a long time ago.
As far as Spider-Man being in this movie and it being tacked on, do you think it's going to be ham-fisted?
What, Spider-Man?
Yeah. Like the overall story and his involvement in it?
No. I don't think so. I don't think they had a lot of room.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in it much.
Yeah.
I think he's like they probably took some really impactful scenes in the movie.
Put him in the background
Yeah,
fighting.
he, like
Oh, there's a web.
yeah, he's just she's like he was my I'm sorry, Tony. He's my friend. So was I. And one for JJ.
None of them react to it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that's Spider-Man Civil War time.
Spider-Man, don't forget to check out Spider-Man Civil War at your local Dollar General starting May 18th.
Is it May? Yeah, you're right. May 18th.
I am not. No, I am not. That was right off the top of my head.
No, you're wrong.
You look it up.
No, it's actually not. It's actually April 28th.
Okay.
Or 29th. I can't remember which. My birthday's on the 29th.
You said it's the day before.
Yeah, I think it's the day before. I think it's the 28th.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's right around there. You'll find it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we're going to go back to the audio podcast.
Bang, bang! And if you have not listened to the audio podcast, you want to listen to the rest of the crap we talk about, then go to warlocksentertainment.com and touch the buttons.
Wherever you're watching this video, check for links below.
Or that.
Yeah. Don't make them type things. They don't like it. Talking to you, Shane.